The Veterans Day ceremony at Balboa Park in San Diego was in full swing when security noticed something suspicious. An old man, maybe 80 years old, was wearing a worn Navy dress uniform with sealed Trident insignia on his chest. The uniform looked authentic but decades old, and the man himself appeared too frail to have been a special operator. Security Officer Mike Johnson had dealt with stolen Valor cases before, and this looked like another one. "Sir, I need to speak with you," Johnson said, approaching the old man who stood quietly near the memorial wall. The old man turned, his weathered face calm. "Is there a problem, officer?" Johnson pointed to the Trident. "I need to see your credentials. That's a sealed Trident you're wearing. We've had issues with people impersonating special operators at these events. If you're wondering where this story goes, hit that like button and comment if you think some accusations need more investigation." The old man reached into his jacket slowly. "I don't carry my discharge papers to events like this. But I assure you, I earned this Trident." Johnson shook his head. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to remove that uniform. If you can't provide proof of service, wearing military decorations you haven't earned is a federal crime." A small crowd began gathering, several active duty SEALs among them. One young petty officer spoke up. "Officer, maybe we should verify before making accusations." But Johnson was confident. "I've dealt with plenty of fakes. Look at him, he's got to be 80 years old. SEALs are elite athletes. This guy can barely stand straight." The old man's jaw tightened slightly. "Son, I'm 79 years old. I served with Underwater Demolition Team 11 and SEAL Team 1 from 1965 to 1987. 22 years of active service. I don't need to prove anything to you, but out of respect for this ceremony, I'll comply." He began to remove the uniform jacket. "Wait," a voice called out. Vice Admiral Robert McAllister pushed through the crowd, still in his service dress uniform from the ceremony he'd just concluded. His eyes were fixed on the old man's forearm, where removing the jacket had revealed a tattoo. Not just any tattoo, but a specific design that made the Admiral stop cold. Now, before we continue, if this story has you captivated, please subscribe and turn on notifications. What happens next will shock everyone. The tattoo showed an eagle clutching a Trident, with a date beneath it, 1968. But it was the unit designation that made Admiral McAllister's face go pale. UDT-11, SEAL Team 1. Below that were coordinates and a classified operation designation that had been declassified only in 2015. The Admiral recognized it immediately. It was from Operation Phoenix Song, one of the most dangerous missions of the Vietnam War. "Master Chief," the Admiral said, his voice tight with emotion, "is that you?" The old man looked up, recognition dawning. "Bobby? Bobby McAllister?" The Admiral's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, sir. I can't believe it's you. I thought you were dead." Johnson, the security officer, stood frozen, realizing something significant was happening, but not understanding what. One of the young SEALs whispered urgently to him, "Dude, you just accused a UDT SEAL legend of stolen valor. You're in deep trouble." Admiral McAllister turned to the crowd. "Everyone needs to know who this is. This is Master Chief Petty Officer James Ghost Sullivan. He is not impersonating a SEAL. He's one of the original frogmen who transitioned when UDT became SEAL teams. He operated in Vietnam when most of these missions were so classified that even their existence was denied." The Admiral addressed Johnson directly. "Officer, that tattoo on his arm represents Operation Phoenix Song, February 1968. Master Chief Sullivan and 5 other SEALs spent 11 days behind enemy lines, conducting reconnaissance that prevented an VA division from overrunning our forces. 3 of his teammates died on that mission. Master Chief Sullivan earned the Navy Cross for actions he couldn't talk about for 47 years. Sullivan spoke. Quietly, Bobby was a young lieutenant then. "I pulled him out of a river when his boat was hit. Thought I'd never see him again after I retired." The Admiral smiled through his tears. "Sir, you saved my life that day. You're the reason I made it to flag rank. You're the reason I exist. Johnson's face had gone from confident to horrified. "Sir, I apologize. I had no idea. I thought—" The Admiral raised his hand. "Officer, you were doing your job. Stolen valor is a real problem, and you were right to verify. But this is why proper investigation matters before making accusations." Sullivan addressed Johnson directly. "Son, you did what you thought was right. I'm not offended. But let me tell you something about judging people. I'm 79 years old. I have arthritis, my back is shot, and I can barely climb stairs. But that doesn't erase 22 years of service. Age diminishes the body, not the service record. Remember that next time." One of the young SEALs approached Sullivan, standing at attention. "Master Chief, I'm with SEAL Team 1. We have your photo in our team room. You're part of our history." "I'm honored to meet you, sir." Sullivan smiled warmly. "Team 1 is still active." "Good. That means the legacy continues. You boys do good work. Keep it up," the Admiral announced to the gathered crowd. Master Chief Sullivan wasn't on today's program because he doesn't seek recognition. He comes to these ceremonies to honor fallen teammates, not to be honored himself. But now that he's here, I'm asking him to join me on stage to share a few words. Sullivan shook his head. "Bobby, I'm not dressed for that." He gestured to his now removed jacket. The Admiral picked it up and handed it back. "Master Chief, you're more qualified to wear this uniform than anyone here. Please, these people need to hear from someone who was there at the beginning." Reluctantly, Sullivan put the jacket back on and followed the Admiral to the stage. When introduced, the crowd of over 2,000 people erupted in applause. Veterans stood at attention. Active duty SEALs saluted. Sullivan stood at the microphone, clearly uncomfortable with the attention, and spoke for less than 2 minutes. "I'm not a hero. I'm a survivor. The real heroes are the names on that wall behind me. My teammates who didn't come home. The frogmen and SEALs who gave everything. I wear this uniform to honor them, not myself." If you take one thing from today, remember that service comes in many forms, and the most important veterans are often the quietest ones. Thank you. The applause was deafening as he returned to his seat. After the ceremony, Johnson approached Sullivan once more. "Master Chief, I'm truly sorry. I should have investigated before making accusations." Sullivan extended his hand. "You did your job, son. Just remember that uniforms and insignia aren't always about today. Sometimes they're about decades ago, about missions that couldn't be acknowledged, about men who served when the nation needed them, but didn't know they existed. Judge carefully, verify thoroughly, and always show respect until proven otherwise." Admiral McAllister stood with Sullivan as the crowd dispersed. "Sir, I'm hosting a SEAL Team 1 reunion next month. Would you attend as guest of honor?" Sullivan smiled. "Only if I don't have to give speeches. I'll come to see the boys and share some stories, but I'm done with stages. This story reminds us that stolen valor is real and should be challenged, but that accusations should come with proper investigation and respect. It reminds us that age changes appearance, but not service, that the oldest veterans often have the most remarkable stories, and that judgment should wait for facts. If this touched your heart, please share it. Drop a comment about veterans who serve quietly without seeking recognition. Let's honor those whose service was classified, whose sacrifices were secret, whose heroism was hidden for decades. Thank you for watching, and remember, the old veteran you're questioning might be the most authentic warrior in the room.